As you guys can see, I more likely will not be taking phone calls today because I am relaxing in my recliner and just going to talk a little bit of ACC Coastal. Music, not in the background. I'm tired, so I really didn't feel like doing it. But we're just going to talk a little bit of ACC Coastal and see what you guys think about Georgia Tech, Virginia. Who's all in the Coastal? Georgia Tech, Virginia. You gonna make me go pull out my tablet to figure out. That's how bad the Coastal is. Duke, North Carolina, Miami, and I know I'm missing maybe one or two more teams that really don't mean nothing in my opinion. But what do you guys think Miami needs to do in order to win the Coastal? And not just that, um, what do you guys think Virginia Tech? I'm sorry. I'm going crazy right now. I'm a little tired, man. And I said I wanted to do a video on the ACC Coastal, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out my tablet so we can go ahead and do this video. Do it proper. I don't want to do it half-ass, even though I've already started out doing it half-ass. But UVA is our biggest threat. Didn't UVA lose a lot of people? I know Virginia Tech lost a lot, but didn't UVA lose a lot of people as well? I'm not big on their roster, but I heard they lost a lot of people as well. And guess what? My tablet is dead, so I'm gonna have to plug it up. This is getting better and better. But didn't UVA lose a lot of people as well? I heard they lost a lot. I know they lost a lot. Um, what's that? What that bell is? Yes, I mean I'm not. I'm to be honest with you. I can agree with you on who our biggest threat, but our biggest threat, to be honest, is us. Our biggest threat is us. But the reason why I want to do a video on the ACC Coastal is because I like Bronco Mendenhall. I like Bronco, but I mean, he coached in a division. He coached in a division that didn't. As long as Miami, as long as Miami handles their business, I'm not concerned with a great Virginia Tech team. To be honest with you, not even concerned with that. Um, I don't know how long I'm gonna stay live because, like I said, my videos haven't been gaining traction lately. So, um, I don't even know how long I'm gonna stay live for. To be honest with you, but I'm not even concerned with a great Virginia Tech team as long as Miami handles its business. You understand what I'm saying? So, but as we look at teams, as we look at some of the teams in the ACC Coastal, what I'm going to do is I want to pull up their rankings over the past 3 years. Oh my bad. So I'm doing some things at the same time. Sorry. What I'm doing is I'm pulling up the recruiting rankings. I appreciate the $5 donation from Captain Trips, man. Thank you, man. From Gator Nation. Appreciate that. That Captain Trips has donated the past few episodes, man. More than Miami fans. I appreciate that, man. I truly appreciate that, man. Um, I'm trying to. I'm sitting here. As of right now, though, as of right now, Miami's number fourth. Miami's number four right now as 2019. Is Clemson one, FSU two, Virginia Tech three, Miami four, NC State five. This is in the ACC. North Carolina six, Virginia seven, Duke is eight, Georgia Tech is nine, Syracuse is 10, Wake Forest is 11, Pitt is 12, Boston College is 13, and Louisville is 14. Um, but this is for this year's and next year's. But I'm trying to find and Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech also has 23 commits. Miami only has 18 commits. So we also have to look at that as well. Probably yes. I would think Virginia Tech hate Miami more. I would think that Virginia Tech Miami is more of a rivalry than Miami Virginia. Just because Tech has been on that level to where they've actually played in a national championship game, and we have been their biggest nemesis more than Virginia. So yes, I would think that Virginia Tech hates Miami more than they hate Virginia. Um, I'm trying to pull up the past 5 years. 2007. I'm trying to figure out where these teams ranked at. Um, but it's not showing me the last 5 years of where they really ranked that in recruiting. I think no, our biggest two rivals, to be honest with you, even though we don't play them every year, our biggest two rivals is Florida State and Notre Dame. I mean, Virginia Tech is not even close to the way we feel about Notre Dame or even Florida. Um, but Notre Dame is probably um I'm trying to figure out what did these teams finish at. Let me see something. But no, none of those teams actually finished like in the top 25. I think might have been Virginia Tech, might have been the only team in the ACC Coastal that finished in the top 25 over the past 5 or 6 years or so. So and I really just didn't feel like setting up studio and sitting down today and talking about it. Well, I mean, Virginia Tech was with us in the Big East. Virginia Tech came to the ACC with us. They were with us in the Big East. Those we were the two teams that came over to the ACC. Was there another team that came with us, or were we the only two that came? But Florida just they refused to play us, and that's the. I wish we could play them every single year. Um, but I mean, right now, if you were to just look at the if you were to just look at the ACC Coastal by itself, Georgia Tech has a new coach. Virginia Bronco Mendenhall. This is his second year. Um, Cutcliffe has always been. He's a very good coach. I don't know about great, but he's definitely a very he's a very good coach who always has Duke prepared to play. Pitt, yeah, Virginia. Like I say, I like Bronco, but I mean Virginia's gonna be Virginia no matter what. Um, it just depends on what NC State team shows up. Same thing with Miami. We have to take care of business. I mentioned Georgia. They have a new coach in a totally new system. So we don't know what to expect from Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech has a new coach in a totally new system. Yeah, Georgia Tech has a recruit. See, what people don't realize is Georgia Tech is in the number two recruiting ground in the nation. They're in the no. I mean, the Atlanta recruiting area is huge. The problem with Georgia Tech is it's such a hard school to get into. It's such a but at the end of the day, they are in the number two. Never concerned about Syracuse because they're two. They're not just in New York, man. They're damn near in Canada. No one wants to go all the way to Syracuse to play football anymore. This is not the Jim Brown days, man. No one wants to go all the way up to Syracuse to play football. I understand that coach is not going to be there long. He'll be if put away if he was at Georgia Tech, it would be oh my gosh, you would have to fear Georgia Tech. The scariest school. I'm glad you mentioned that. The scariest school in the ACC Coastal that can be the biggest threat to Miami in the future would be Duke, just because of where they're recruiting at. I'm not. Mac Brown could always recruit. He's a hell of a recruiter, and people don't realize. I think he started at North Carolina, but he's not a great coach. So I'm not concerned with Mac Brown and his coaching. He's a hell of a recruiter, but like you say, the probation and everything may hurt them. Is going to hurt them as well. But yeah, I mean Georgia Tech, man. If you want to be real about it, if you look at where they're located at in Atlanta, Atlanta is the number two recruiting ground in the nation when it comes to high school football. Um, I don't know if they can, as long as they have Cutcliffe as the coach. He's an innovator. He's a great coach. They can stay competitive, but um, Dan Enos is an offensive genius, and I don't think that they can run with us at all. But what's going on, Norman? Norman, my Facebook friend. But I'm glad someone mentioned Georgia Tech because I'm telling you on the real, man, Georgia Tech, man, if they ever really it get traction with the coach, they're gonna be hell just because of where they are. The only team that they're really to compete with them is Georgia. Alabama going to get players out of there. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, they can be a hell of a program, man. I'm glad they got rid of that option. They got that option is gone. Yeah, but I mean, see, we're talking the goal. I'm not talking. I'm talking about teams that can be perennial. Georgia Tech can be perennial if the right coach is at Georgia Tech. They can be great. They can be great. Not just good, not just an ups. They can be a national championship contender. I mean, serious. Georgia Tech can be year in and year out. Georgia Tech can be a national championship contender with the right coaching. They have the money, they have the facilities. Exactly. They can recruit just because of where they're located at. They have the tradition. They do have a national championship. Um, Bobby Dodd Stadium it seats 55,000. It's a smaller, but it's very compact and it's very loud. It's a very loud stadium. You don't always you look at Oregon. I think Oregon Stadium holds about 55, 60,000. You don't have to have 100,000 seat stadium. Um, they actually have them claimed at five national championships. I don't know, but they say they have five. They say they have 1917, 1928. I mean, have four national championships: 1917, 1928, 1952, and 1990. Unclaimed, they have three. So if you think about it, they got more national championships than Georgia. They have more national championships than Georgia. It wasn't that game loud, Shaw? Crazy loud, yo. What's good, 247s? Yeah, I mean they have national championships in 1917, 1928, 1952, and 1990. That's more national championships than Florida State. That's more national championships than Florida. I know we're looking at 1917, 1928, 1952, but still, I mean, they're on their resume as national champions. The 1990 is the most recent one, but I mean, if you look at like what they can do right now, um, with their recruiting, they would be the biggest. They could be the biggest threat to the University of Miami and the Coastal, and be the biggest threat for a long time if they get the right coaching. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is the scariest team in the Coastal Division long term. Long term, they are the biggest threat over Virginia Tech, over anybody. They are the biggest threat. If they can just recruit Atlanta, that's gonna be, bro. I'm telling you, I don't know how hard it is to get into that school. North Carolina, yeah, they could, but not. I'm just looking at recruiting ground. The state of North Carolina football is nowhere near as good as just Atlanta by itself. Atlanta by itself, man. I don't know how good. I can't pronounce his name, but Willie Collins, Canafri, whatever, Geoff, whatever it is now. I don't know how good of a coach he is. Um, I don't know if he's gonna continue to run that option. Did he coach there last year? I think he did. I'm trying to pull up his record, right? Pull up his following a year of coaching high school, Collins became the linebacker coach at Fordham. Okay. Graduate assistant at Georgia Tech. Before Georgia Tech, after a year at Alabama, director of personnel. Collins served as the defensive coordinator for Florida International in 2010. Um, and what bugs me, he has a lot of ties in Florida. Spent 2 years in Florida. NFL coach. He spent some time at Temple. 2018, he was at Georgia Tech. I'm telling you, man, the right coach I'm glad I did this show because we focus so much on Miami on all the time. We focus so much on Miami that we don't give other schools. And I've always wondered what school, and we've always gave all the respect to Virginia Tech. And for some reason we have, just because we just remember the glory days of Michael Vick and things like that. But if you think about it, like Virginia football is okay, but nobody really goes there. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing that they're not competing against Georgia, Alabama, and Clemson. Just like we're competing against Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Florida State, and Florida. We're competing against all of those schools. We're competing right now. We're competing. We can't keep our best talent at home. But there's so much talent in that Atlanta area that they can't get all of them. Not even all of those schools combined could get all of that talent. If you look at all of the schools in the AC, matter of fact, if you look at all of the schools in the ACC period, there's only one school that, there's only two schools that have the recruiting in their backyard that rivals Georgia Tech, and that's Miami and Florida State. If you really think about it, just imagine, just imagine if Dabo was at Georgia Tech. I think Clemson Stadium is only like 60,000. Just imagine if Dabo was at Georgia Tech. Would you want to see Dabo leave Clemson and go to Georgia Tech? Just be honest with you. Would you want to see Dabo leave Clemson and go to Georgia Tech? I think he would be at a bigger level. I think he would be at a big. Have you ever been to Clemson? I've been to Clemson. I live in South Carolina. There is nothing there. Clemson is the only thing there. That's it. There is nothing in Clemson. The only thing that's getting players to Clemson is Dabo. So imagine if he was in Atlanta. If you had Dabo Sweeney in Atlanta at Georgia Tech, what do you think would happen? I mean, all these scenarios are just coming across my mind because I'm really starting to think. Yeah, freeze. You, bro. You are. Hey, Shaw. You just hit. Hugh Freeze would be. I know who you was talking about. You might have been a little high when you said high freeze. You might have been on a little bit of the stickier, the ickiest, and the irkiest of the jerky. But bro, if Hugh Freeze was at Georgia, bro, I'm glad I did this video. I'm so glad that I did this video because Georgia Tech could be that team that they could be that. Bro, they get rid of that. That option was the only thing that's holding them back. You don't think when, bro, you got to realize, would you rather live in Athens, Georgia, or would you rather live in Atlanta, Georgia? That was, hey Justin, that was my question, and I mentioned that. That was one of the things that I did mention, Justin. I mean Jesse. I did mention the academics, but do you think that they will relax them a little bit if they, because they can relax, and Georgia Tech can, they could have relaxed their academics if they wanted to. It's not like it's they have to be so high when it comes to sports. So just think about it, Jesse. If they relax their academics a little bit for football, No, I'm saying if they did, if they relaxed their academics a look, because that was one of the questions. And if you were in early, I said that. I said academically, they always Miami is high. I think Miami is up there with Stanford when it comes to academics, but they relax them for football. I'm not saying my pull up Miami, pull up University of Miami academics and see how high they are ranked. Georgia Tech would be a freaking monster. Georgia Tech would be a monster because they can relax their academics. If you look at, let me see the top academic schools in the ACC. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm not getting my space. Let me see something. I'm looking up a few things. Y'all be. Business. They're doing this different. They're not doing this right. They're doing this by tuition, not by academics. They're doing it by tuition and stuff, not by academics. They're not because Cal Berkeley would be definitely way higher up than they got them on this list. Syracuse isn't a threat to Clemson. They have a good coach that they have a good coach, but I don't think they're a threat to Clemson at all. I don't think they're a threat to Clemson at all. They just have they're a team that matches up well with Clemson. But I mean, it's crazy to me, right? I mean, it really is. It's amazing to me that we actually how much we overlook how much we overlook Georgia Tech, and they're in one of the best recruiting grounds in the nation. There used to be a little spot where you could just go find, pull up who schedule? Georgia Tech schedule? I hate this damn thing sometimes. All right, their first game is against Clemson on 8/29 at 8 p.m. Their second game will be against the Citadel. Their third game will be against, their second game will be against South Florida on 9/7. Their third game is against the Citadel on 9/14. Their their fourth game will be against Temple. Their fifth game will be against UNC. Game number six will be against Duke. They play us on 10/19. They play Pitt on 11/12. On 11/2. They play Virginia on 11/9. They play Virginia Tech on 11/16. They play NC State on 11/21, and they end the season on rivalry week against Georgia on 11/30. Okay. Yeah, yeah, Jesse. Like I say, if they were to relax, if they were to relax their academics, looking at where they are, I didn't say they were a threat today, Slim Shady Kane. It's not what I said. What I said was, if you look at the school with the biggest opportunity of becoming the biggest threat to Miami and the Coastal from today on out, if Georgia Tech was to relax their academics and get a coach, they would be by far the school that we fear the most. By far the biggest threat. Just because of their recruiting ground. It's not even a comparison. Like I said, if Dabo Sweeney was at Georgia Tech instead of Clemson, it would be crazy. Well, I'm not even concerned about whether or not who they have us losing to. To be honest with you, Rick, I don't. You know, bro. If as long, put it away. If Manny Diaz lose to Virginia and Pitt and Duke, then that's Manny Diaz's fault. Period. Point blank. If we go 10-2 and lose both games to Florida, I would rather lose. I would rather lose to Virginia and Pitt than Florida and Florida State. I'd rather lose to Virginia and Pitt. You lose the state of Florida, that's not good at all. That's not good for recruiting at all. That's bad for recruiting. I'm not sleeping on Louisville. What I'm saying is, answer this question: who would be a bigger threat, a school out of Kentucky or a school out of Atlanta? I'm just going by straight off of. I'm going straight off of who would be the biggest threat. Period. Point blank. At the end of the day, who would be the biggest threat to Miami? Who would be the biggest threat to Miami in the I'm trying to figure out who the hell would give me a thumbs down. I usually don't I usually don't look at that. Well, what the hell did I do wrong to get a thumbs down by speaking football? Oh my goodness gracious! You got some people. When you got people that just don't like you, you got people that just don't like you. That's funny to me. That's crazy to me. That's why I be considering letting. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not saying I'm not saying you wrong 247. You gave me a like and you donated. You the only one that donated. I appreciate that. Only person that donated to the chat was a Gator fan. Uh-oh, I might be. Oh man, goodness gracious, that's sad. I'm be honest, that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Anybody can tell me I'm wrong though. Can anybody tell me that I'm wrong that Georgia Tech, if with the right coaching and everything, would not be the biggest threat to Miami in the ACC, especially in the Coastal. I'm not wrong, Slim. You wrong for saying I'm wrong. There is no way you watch football and you can tell me I'm wrong. If they had the right coaching and relaxed their grades a little bit with the recruiting ground they're in, if you tell me I'm wrong, then you just don't know football. That's period point blank. That'd be like saying Miami's not a threat and they win the number one recruiting grounds in the nation when Atlanta's the number two recruiting ground in the nation. I said, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If you can tell me I'm wrong, then tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong on that. Isn't okay? I don't think David Cutcliffe is about 200 years old. Who's going to be Duke next coach? I know he trolling me. He always trolls my brother. Me and Slim talked last night on the phone for about 3 hours. Me and Slim always on the phone. Duke is get David Cutcliffe is old as dirt. How old is Cutcliffe, man? How old is Cutcliffe? I tell you what, y'all see me. Y'all see me. I don't even know what type of offense. What type of offense Duke gonna run this year? I mean, not Duke. What type of offense is Georgia Tech gonna run this year? I don't go, man. Texas players are soft. Texas players are soft as pudding, man. They soft. Texas players are soft. I don't put them up. They're soft. Their players are soft as pudding. A double wing. What's that? A basketball play? Appreciate that, Hurricane Hard. That's gonna be scary, man. They gonna spread it out, man. That's bro, bro. That's gonna be man. Georgia Tech. I'm glad I did this video because it's gonna make me watch Georgia Tech a lot this year. It's gonna make me watch them a lot this year. It's gonna make recruits want to go there. Like I said, the only thing that's gonna hurt Georgia Tech is if they don't relax their academics. If they relax their academics, oh my goodness gracious. That's my pick of the biggest threat. Everybody try to figure out who was the biggest threat to Miami and the Coastal. My biggest threat to Miami and the Coastal is Georgia Tech. If they relax their academic, I don't know how hard it is to get into Georgia Tech. I know Chris Bosh went there. Um, well, well, who card? With who card? I don't even know. Larry Fitzgerald, yeah, Larry Fitzgerald, and Calvin Johnson. Yep, Calvin Johnson went to Georgia Tech. I'm talking 2 to 3 years from now, not 3 to 5. I'm talking 2 to 3 years from now. I'm just, I'm just, I'm just spitting. It's not like we're leaving the ACC Coastal tomorrow. Larry went to Pitt. That's right. Fitzgerald went to Pitt. I think he meant to say Johnson. Yeah, Virginia, for some reason, Virginia always give us hell. I remember the Wally Lundy years. Used to aggravate the hell out of me. Watch Wally Lundy run up and down the damn field on us. But I mean, if you just looking at pure talent wise, man. Uh-uh. Yeah, I'm serious, man. I mean, you just look at what it's just. I tell you what, man. You just look at where they are. If people were saying Miami couldn't be good, where we are at, we would be so pissed off. We'd be like they're disrespecting us, man. What I'm looking at, Jay, is Virginia Tech can always be a good team. But if you look at their recruiting ground, they have to be lucky to be great, right? Everything has to fall perfect order for Virginia Tech to be great. Georgia Tech is in a great recruiting ground. They're on great recruiting ground. They're on great recruiting soil. They have an opportunity to be great. All they got to do is get lucky and get a good coach. I'm not. They have an opportunity to be great though. I just pulled up their national championship. They got four. A lot of them are old, but they got four. Georgia only has one. What do you mean? What you talking about, Tron? No, I didn't see it. Georgia has two. My bad. They got two. Yeah, I had to correct that. Well, if you look at the claimed and unclaimed with shit, Georgia Tech, they got like seven. I think they could beat out Georgia if they relax their recruiting. Why couldn't they? You don't think kids would want to stay home? I'm only gonna be on for like a few more minutes. I'm only gonna be on for like a few more minutes. I'm not gonna be on too much longer. A little tired, a little fatigued today. What's going on, Wholesome? What was good? I'm still kind of mind boggled that my only donation today is from a Florida Gator. Thank you, Captain Trips. As soon as I said something about donations, I lost 7 people, 8 people, 9 people, 10 people, 11 people, 12 people, 13 people. Whatever. No, I didn't see the video on the Gator Stomp, man. I've been so busy and fatigued today. I don't think I'm doing no more videos for the rest. I might not do another video until the week of the game. To be honest with you, I might take me some more time off. I might not do another video until the week of the game. I appreciate that, Shaw. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I didn't say they had the number one. I didn't, Tron. I said they had the number two. See, you came in late. You came in late, and you ain't see what I said. I said they're in the number two recruiting ground in the nation. They could be our biggest threat, though. See, I think everybody reading me wrong. Is everybody reading me wrong? I said, who could be our biggest threat in the coastal? And to me, if you look at their recruiting ground, our biggest threat in the coastal could be what's going on, G1. Our biggest recruiting threat in the coastal could be Georgia Tech. I didn't say they were going to be our biggest recruiting threat. I mean, our biggest threat. I didn't say they were going to beat us. I said who could be our biggest threat, and to me, it could be Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia Tech. I mean, just look at where they are. Just look at where they are. I didn't say they were going to do it this year. I didn't say they were going to be our biggest threat this year. I'm instead of trying to prove me wrong. Instead of trying to prove me wrong, just think about what I'm saying. How about that? Instead of just trying to prove me wrong, just think about what I'm saying. I don't think it could be Boston College. Why would it be Boston College? Boston, don't nobody play football in Boston. Hope a lot. Appreciate that, bro. I don't. I mean, it is what it is, man. I gotta say, I'm going with Georgia Tech as our biggest recruiting. I mean, our biggest threat in the coastal that could be. I'm just looking at what I know. You just got on, bro. I'm just looking at what could be. I don't. Maybe I'm. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, wrong. Maybe I'm just too old, too naive. I'm covering my mic. My bad. I was covering my mic. Yeah, I had my finger over the microphone. My bad. I said maybe I'm getting too old and a little too naive to cover football. I don't know. I'm just looking at the recruiting ground and where Georgia Tech is, and it looks to me like if you really look at every team in the ACC Coastal, the team that is lined up in the perfect place to be the biggest threat to Miami is Georgia Tech. I don't know how good UVA defense is. I guess we'll see when we play them. I don't know. I'm seeing to be losing steam. I'm just looking at where they recruit. I'm just looking at where they're based out of, man. They have the money. It's not like they don't have the money. What bugged me out about football fans is nobody ever thought Clemson would be this good. Dabo Swinney lost 5 straight years to South Carolina. Nobody ever thought Clemson would be this good. Nobody ever thought Clemson. And now all of a sudden Clemson is great. And I speak on a team that's in a great recruiting ground, and I'm wrong. I'm not. I'm wrong. That bugs me out. Nobody ever thought Clemson would be this great. So I'm trying to think ahead. I'm trying to think progressively and just look at where Georgia Tech is. And now you knew they was serious when they lost 5 straight years. When they lost 5 straight years to the University of South Carolina, you knew they were serious. When they lost five straight, when Dabo Swinney lost 5 straight years to the University of South Carolina, you thought they were serious contenders. Dabo didn't beat us though. Even if he did, they lost 5 straight years to the University of South Carolina. Hey, I mean, I'm not saying if you thought they would be this good, then you probably the only person that thought they would be this good. That you know what though? That's all that matter. That's all that matter. Jay is winning right now. Yeah, they got destroyed by West Virginia. Oh my God. I know he was given the time to do it. They lost 5 straight years to South Carolina. That let you know he was given the time to build that program. I know that. I live right here in Columbia. Everybody was ACC contenders back then. They were ACC contenders when they had Tommy Bowden. They lost to the Gamecocks 5 straight years. Dabo lost to the Gamecocks 5 straight years. 5. So, all right, I'm out. I'm done. I'm tired. This video went on long enough. I'm not even gonna make an hour. Yeah, Thomas Brown lives up here now too. Ain't nobody worry about Thomas. I'm not firing Manny for nobody. I got to give Manny a chance first. I don't know who this is calling me, but whatever. I'm done, man. I'm out. I appreciate it. It is what it is. I don't know if I'm gonna do any more videos up until game week. I think I've lost traction. I might be too old for videos now. You guys do the same, man. I don't know if I'm going live Friday, man. I can't. Hey, I can't gain no traction right now, man. I can't gain no traction right now, man. We'll see. I love you guys, man. Appreciate everything you guys do for me, man. I'm out. We'll see. I'll post something going live Friday, I guess at 7 o'clock. Is that a good time for everybody? Friday live at 7. Make sure I ain't stepping on nobody's toes, man. Love you guys, man. I'm out. See you Friday.